too tight to mention.
Happening this week. My God. Trump, that song was dedicated to you because you have to be, seriously, the biggest idiot on the planet. Norway got a letter. The Prime Minister, let's get straight into it. The Prime Minister of Norway got a letter from the President of the United States of America and so-called leader of the Free West. It's not so free anymore. I'm going to go into that a bit later in the show. But Trump wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of New Zealand. I don't know if you know about this. Not New Zealand, Norway. And it goes like this. I have stopped 7 wars. 7 wars. Yes, I've stopped 7 wars. I'm a great man. You did not give me the Nobel Peace Prize. So I don't see the point in protecting peace when nobody respects me. So I'm going to do what I want, and I'm going to take what I want, and that includes Greenland. Imagine waking up in the morning, you're the Prime Minister of an oil-rich country where the social harmony is pretty good. It's much more coherent than the Swedish one, at least. I've been in Norway many, many times. And any listeners in Norway, good afternoon, how are you? And the idiot, otherwise known as the President of the United States of America, sent a letter stating, you didn't give me the Nobel Peace Prize. Why should I concentrate on peace? I'm going to do what I want. Now, does that sound like the rantings of a normal, sane man? To me, it doesn't. And I've been really digging deep on all this now with Trump. And there are rumours that his contention, I can't even say it, is not that sharp anymore. His stance when he's leaning forward leads to Alzheimer's. And I saw a video where it looks like he's got a bag fastened lower down on his leg. Now, I had a very good friend who had a bag on his leg to hold his wee-wee. Because he got Alzheimer's very young, actually. He died, unfortunately, at the age of 45, which is very young. But he used to have a bag, and it was fastened down just around his knee because he just could not control his bladder. Now, apparently, Trump's wearing one of them. Nothing surprises me. When he did his speech the other week, and I stated on this radio show and on social media platforms that I thought he was slurring and is not sounding like he did, I got assassinated. And I've got a lot of friends in America, and I feel sorry for him at the moment because we're all literally turning against him. There's so much to talk about and unpack with Greenland. It's going to be a long, interesting show. But if Trump gets his way, this is what's going to happen.
That's great. It starts with an earthquake, birds and snakes, an airplane, and Lenny Bruce is not afraid. I have a hurricane. Listen to yourself. Churn world serves its own needs. Dummy serve your own needs. Beat it up an ox, speak grunt, no strength. The ladder starts to clatter with fear. Bite down, high wire and a fire represented 7 games in a government for hire and a combat site. Left to us are coming in a hurry with the furies breathing down your neck. Team my team reporters babble Trump, tether crop. Look at that, no plane, fine. Then, overflow, population common food, but it'll do. Save yourself, serve yourself. World serves its own needs. Listen to your heart, bleed. Dummy with the rapture and the reverend and the right. You patriotic, slam pipe, bright light, feeling pretty sight. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. 6 o'clock TV hour, don't get caught in foreign tower. Slice and burn, return, listen to yourself churn. Lock it in, uniform and book, burning blood, letting every motive escalate. Automotive incinerate, light a candle, light a motor, step down, watching heel crush, this means no fear. Cavalier, renegade, steer clear. Tournament of lies. Offer me solutions, offer me alternatives, and I decline. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. Lester Bangs, birthday party, cheesecake, jelly bean, boom. Symbiotic, patriotic, slam button, that, right? Right. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
Oh, a little bit of R.E.M. The end of the world as we know it. You know what? They're not far wrong, are they? Since Trump came back into power on his second stint at the White House, he's done pretty much everything he can to destroy the world as we know it. Do you know that there's 47 countries in danger of losing the democracy? And they're not doing it with revolutions or civil uprising. These people are being voted in with sheer and utter lies. Like Trump, everything is said. I mean, trust you me, I was a big fan of Donald Trump until recently when he started going doolally. And his desires of Greenland, I've talked about this over the past few weeks actually, it's not about strategic protection, it's about minerals. 20 years ago, America had 30,000 troops and 17,000 bases, 17 bases and 30,000 troops stationed on Greenland. Over the past couple of administrations, they've drawn that down and down and down, and now they've got approximately 200 to 300 troops and one base. So if it's so strategically important, why did previous presidents feel the need to draw back on it? Save money? Or what? I just think it's outrageous what he's getting away with now. And I used to get knocked for supporting him, and I released a record for his last election, We Love USA, and there was Big Mac's going to release that, but I'm trying to stop it now. I give him the permission, and Jerry did, the producer, to release a song, and he'd done a country version of it, but I'm so shocked by this lunatic Trump. I actually think that Trump and Putin are working together to destroy the European Union, and the European Union needs to grow a backbone. And interestingly enough, Elon Musk, Elon, the mega billionaire, he tweeted, or not tweeted, he X'd, didn't it? Because it's X now, it's not tweet. And he wrote, Europe are planning on halting trade with the USA. Big mistake. Trump never loses on the world stage. Well, you know what, Elon? There's always a first time, isn't there? And I'm surprised that you're not down with the 1,000 other private jets in Davos, because that's where they all seem to be now, innit? They've got the little World Economic Forum get-together, and Trump's on his way tomorrow with Melania, I don't know, Melania. Now, I wonder if he'll stop off on the way to Epstein's Island. Do you know that Trump met Melania? I think she's dropped that gorgeous light, but I can't pronounce her name. He met her on Epstein's Island. I don't know if people know this. She was in a line of around 10 beautiful blondes, a little bit like Bangkok, only with blonde hair, and Trump picked her out when he was on Epstein Island. Obviously, they got married and had kids, or kid, Byron, who was about 16 foot tall. and making millions and millions from daddy's dirty dealings in Texas with the mining for Bitcoin. I'll tell you all about that in a bit as well. But, you know, since he married Melania, bear in mind, Trump says he's not a friend of Epstein. Now, Epstein dated Melania Trump before Trump did. This is what I found strange. Now, if my ex-wife or my ex-girlfriend started dating one of my friends, I won't want them to come around and visit me once, never mind 40 times. According to new documents, Melania and Donald Trump went to Epstein's Island together 40 times. 40 times. Let that sink in. Trump reckons he don't know him. Trump reckons it was just business. While we're on about Epstein and Trump's business, Trump made over 4,000 business transactions with Epstein for over $1.1 billion. Now, do you do that with somebody who you don't know, who you don't visit, or you don't talk to, or you don't talk to as a friend? 4,000 transactions. This is just in one account. Only in one account that they found of Epstein's. $1.1 billion is gone with Epstein's ex-girlfriend and his now wife 40 times to Epstein Island. Let that sink in. Welcome to Dreamcatcher Radio with Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden. We're going to rip Trump's new arsehole today. A bit of Bon Jovi. I think it's great to see Bon Jovi back. It doesn't sound anything like he did, but that's what throat cancer does to you. You know, on a personal note, I'm very happy today. Very happy because I got a message from the hospital that they suspected I'd got cancer in the old Aris. And they did all the tests and it's come back clear. So I'm just stuck with multiple sclerosis. So I'm quite satisfied with that. It seems like a win. Oh, bad medicine, right? Listen to this. This is interesting. Now, Trump's put in 10% tariffs. This is his favourite thing to do, isn't it? Let's stick some tariffs on people. You know, I'm the tariff man. I'm not just Mr. Tango. I'm the tariff man. I do what I want because I'm Donald J. Trump. And I do it so good. I do it so good. I do it so well. Well, Denmark, right? If they're going to put tariffs on Denmark, get hold of this. Denmark supplies 74% of the insulin to America. It supplies 100% of Ozempic. So all the fat gits trying to get not so fat gits who use this Ozempic. This is what all these celebrities are using to look like skeletons. Denmark supplies 100% of the Ozempic, what it's called, to America. It also supplies 15% of all the shipping containers. So 8.4 million Americans depend on the insulin that comes directly from America. So Trumpy, the Mr. Businessman, art of the deal. I'm the best thing I'm a demigod. No, you're not. Donald, I never thought I'd say this, but you are a arsehole. Or as Trump would say, as Arnold say, yeah, asshole. Donald Trump is an asshole. Sounds better, doesn't it? But let's get back to this with Greenland, right? I live in the south of Sweden, just in a little place called Ängelholm, outside of Helsingborg. And Helsingborg is a port to Scandinavia. And last week they discovered 3 tons of cocaine, so someone's not having a party this week. But I'm very close to Denmark. My grandma is from Denmark, so I've still got relatives in Denmark. If I wanted to, I could get a Danish passport. But you have to take a test and you have to speak the language, and Swedish was hard enough, never mind learning Danish. That is strawberries with ice cream in Danish. Skiddygot is what it sounds like. But Greenland now, the Danish have really ramped up the defences of it. I mean, I actually find this totally insane that we're talking about America invading or buying Greenland, a part of the European continent. And Trump's pathetic, ridiculous main excuse is we don't want Russia as a neighbour to America. Have you had a look on the map where Alaska is, which is an American state? And it borders, well, it's slightly separated by just a little bit of ice and water. So the closest neighbour is Russia. So I think Trump, that's out the window, you know. How you became a billionaire because your daddy gave you £1 billion and told you to sod off and don't come back, and you were lucky. Now, when you had your economic crisis, you had a big economic crisis and nobody would borrow your money. Rumour has it that you got billions from Putin, and that's why Putin owns you. You're Putin's biatch. But Greenland have now sent their special forces, the equivalent to the SAS, to Greenland. The planes, the cargo planes, equipment, it's shipping in, flying in regularly. The ships are getting there. And if this is about defending American empire, Donald, you're never going to have it. All empires come to an end, and I think America's on the verge of collapse. You're just doing this now for your megalomania. You want to have this island, you want it to be Trump's little 15-minute island, and then you want to mine all the rare earth minerals which are on the island, which is loads of them. As Trump said earlier, I saw a clip earlier today. Do you know what a magnet is? A lot of people don't know what a magnet is. Without these minerals, nobody can have a magnet. You've got no card, you've got nothing. I honestly think that Trump has lost the plot, and it saddens me, because he was, for me, in his first term as president, I thought he was brilliant. I absolutely thought he was amazing. But now I just think he's the biggest dickhead on the planet, and what he's doing is bullying people. You know, people don't respond well to bullies. I've never responded well to bullies. And I think now, as a continent, we have to say, hold on a minute. Enough is enough. We're not going to let you push us around. We're not going to let you do what you want. We're not going to let you tariff us so we can't survive anymore. We've just had enough here. Concentrate on your own country. My very good friend Steve, the entertainer, I'm going to play his music shortly, is in Texas at the moment, in Austin. This was a stronghold for Trump. It was a red area. They've all turned against him because of the poverty and the cost of living and how difficult it is to get ahead now. There's no such thing as an American dream anymore. And Trump's just concentrating on being an absolute prat and threatening everybody. Nobody responds well to threats. I've got to say, for the first time ever, I agreed with Starmer when he said we're not standing for it. So he sent one troop. He sent one soldier. One soldier to Greenland. Oh, come on, Keir. We all know you're queer. But, you know, get a spine, stand up and say we're not standing. We're just not going to take it anymore. We're not. I mean, personally now, I know that I have no chance whatsoever ever getting into America because I know they're listening to my show in America. And when I was pro-Trump, they were all, oh, yeah, you're what a great guy. Rod Stewart, Michael Dean, what a great guy. The Englishman in Sweden, great guy. And now they're all like, I'm getting death threats for it. But I think he's an absolute arsehole. I really do. You know, he promised, didn't he? Well, let's keep on. France sent 30 troops, I think it was. Norway sent 3. Spain sent about 5. Britain 1. And Trump has then said he's going to sanction and tariff all the countries who are standing together with Denmark. Well, get on with it, Donald, and let your people have this, send me a peck. Let them all get fat again, and let your diabetics drop dead. Because Denmark supply 100% of your insulin. I think that's quite an amazing thing. I don't think he's aware of that. Either he is aware of it and don't care, or he's just not aware of it. He's too busy trying to cover his tracks from Epstein, and it's all coming out. And if it means he's going to start a world war to keep it buried, I think he might just do it. But Melania and Donald Trump were on Epstein's island 40 times, and he picked her out of a lineup of 10 women. I find that absolutely staggering. I find it absolutely staggering. There's going to be a lot more about Trump in a bit, but we're going to talk about Davos, of course, when we get back, after a musical interlude from the one and only Billy Joel.
Olympics on the shore, China's under martial law. Rock and roller cola wars, I can't take it anymore. We didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire, but when we are gone, will it still burn on and on and on and on and on and on and on? We didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire, no we didn't rain, but we tried to fight it. We didn't start the fire, it was always burning since the world's been turning. We didn't start the fire, no we didn't rain, but we tried to fight it. We didn't start the fire.
Oh, you can't beat a bit of Joel either, can you? You know, Billy Joel, right, is a bit of a character, actually. He's done some shows with Rod, or they're going to do some shows in Madison Square Gardens, which would be pretty cool. I'd like to go and see that. See the two old boys cracking away. Raving alcoholic, apparently, and that's why Christy Brinkley left him. Imagine that, Christy Brinkley. I think we've all flicked off a few over here, haven't we? But, you know, seriously, now, I want to say hello to the listeners here. I'm looking at the map where you're listening from. Some of the places I'm not sure where we are, but hola español, ¿cómo está? ¿Todo bien? Yasa Greece. Danke wel, Schuss. Hello, Netherlands. Norge. Hey, hey, Humorny. And the good old United Kingdom. How are you? And the USA. How you diddling? Are you all happy you've got a leader named Donald Trump? I bet you're not now, are you? You bought into his bull like we bought into Nigel Farage's. Right, we're going to talk about Nigel Farage now. Nigel Farage, the saviour dun, 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 of the United Kingdom. Guess where he is this week? You know, the man for the people, the man who promised 300 million quid a week for the NHS, the man who said our lives would be better if we did Brexit. He made sure he got his German passport first, didn't he? Naughty Nigel. He got his German passport. He quit from his party when Brexit happened, and he buggered off to Germany or France on his European passport to live happily ever after. And then he became irrelevant, so he thought, what can I do? I know. Let's go back and trick the same moronic people who believed that Brexit would be good for the country. I was one of them. I know. But my vote wasn't counted because at the time when Brexit happened, I was living in Spain, and anybody living abroad, about 1 million of us in Spain, our votes didn't get counted, which would have swung it, by the way. It would have swung it. It would have meant that we stayed and life would have carried on. Okay, so we've avoided the 680 billion debt that the European Union has in deficit, but we've paid over 80 billion so far, nearly 90 billion to the EU since we left. What for? I don't know. Let's ask Nigel Farage. You see, Nigel Farage has conned a nation. Now he's changed his fag, or his cigarettes, and his pint of beer for champagne and lobsters when he's gone to his paymasters in Davos, along with Queer Keir. And Ulf Kristersson's on his way. He's on his way now because of the chaos and the uncertainty regarding Greenland. He wasn't invited originally, but now they realise Sweden's such a military hardware force that he's got to come. So you've got all the leaders of the Free West gathering in Davos, and Donald J. Trump is flying in on his £400 million airline provided by the Qataris. It's very nice, isn't it? Which is keeping, by the way, after he's finished as Prime Minister or President, if he don't rewrite the Constitution so he can stay on forever until he's totally destroyed the world, he's going to keep his $400 million plane, which was a gift from the Qataris, which is very nice, isn't it? Or Saudis, was it? I'm not sure which, but one of those Arab lot bought him off. And Farage, along with all these other dignitaries and so-called world leaders, 1,000 private jets descended on Davos. I do hope that they don't try and lecture us about the climate. Have you noticed now the climate change, the climate chaos has disappeared because nobody gives a monkey's chuff about it. We all know that it's a lie. So Al Gore were the first to start it, weren't it? And they changed it from whatever name to planet eating and now to climate change, and no one cares. Ed Miliband's destroying Britain with his net zero drive, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. It's all absolute and utter crap. It seriously is. But Nigel Farage, who promised Brits that life would be better after Brexit, got himself a German passport, and, well, the rest is history, isn't it? Mind his wife's worth a portion, she really is. But I don't know what more to say about Farage. He stands there pretending to be for the people, and off he goes, along with all the other WF, World Economic Forum puppets, to continue destroying our lives. Interestingly enough, there is one man who's not there, because no one's got time for him with his begging cap, and the world's focus is no longer on the Ukraine. Zelensky, the pint-sized dictator, he is not going to Davos because he knows there's no point whatsoever, because now all anybody's talking about is Greenland, and will or will not Trump invade. It's an interesting time, isn't it? It's a dangerous time. It's a sad time. That's why I'm just in Sweden. I came back to Sweden from living a life of luxury in Cyprus, actually, which we'll talk about in a bit, what's happening there, to be with my kids. And tomorrow I'm picking up Luna from school, and I'll tell you this little story because I've had a bit of a rough time, actually. I'm picking up Luna from school, and me, Lily and Luna are going to take the train about 35 minutes from Ängelholm to Landskrona to go to my daughters, Saga, Liv and Zoe's cafe called Sisters in Landskrona. It's a great cafe. Everything's organically made. It's a fabulous cafe, or bistro. And we're going to go after school and have fika, as they call it in Swedish, with my girls together. Now, 10 days ago, my car got sideswiped. Bang. It's gone. I live very rural, right, which is wonderful. It really is wonderful. I can blast my music out. I can rehearse as loud as I want. I've got no neighbours. Well, I've got one neighbour, Linus, and he's great. He's a great guy. I mean, his missus. Lovely people. We do karaoke nights with him. It's great fun. And that's it. But it's a 2-kilometre walk to the bus stop, okay? I don't mind walking. I walk every day, 6, 8, 10 kilometres, depending on how good or bad my legs are on that day with Lily, my rescue doggo Argentina from Cyprus. And it's a 2-kilometre walk to the bus. Then the bus takes 15 minutes into Ängelholm. And then I do my shopping or whatever I need to do. I tie Lily up outside. I quite continually have arguments with people because she has separation anxiety when she doesn't see me. So she barks, but she's very friendly. But people don't know that. And I understand people get a bit afraid of 40 kilo. Pitbull, they think, oh, dangerous dog. She's about as dangerous as Keir Starmer. Well, he's dangerous because he's got power, but you understand where I'm going. And then I'd get the bus back, and it's a 20-25 minute walk back again. So we get a lot of exercise. So if that's not bad enough, this morning I went out with my beautiful dog Lily. She saw her hair. She was still on a lead. I got my phone in my hand. My legs don't have the resistance they used to have because of my MS. And she pulled, I dropped, bang, my phone went down. And on this walkway, there's one big rock. And guess what happens? My iPhone 15 lands flatly and firmly, face down, with a bit of power on this one rock. And the phone is totally destroyed. I'm like, oh, God, tell me. I've got to buy a new one now. Because when my car got done, I cancelled the insurance. There's no point having insurance on a car which isn't on the road, and as in many countries, insurance is very expensive. So I cancelled the insurance. This morning when I got back, I went online to IF, my insurance company, and said, my phone's totally smashed. I don't think it's going to be repairable. And they said, okay. And they went, oh, well, last week you cancelled your insurance. I went, no, I cancelled the car insurance. It came as a package. So guess what? You pay your insurance and they stitch you up. That's what insurance companies do. They stitch you up. You pay. And when you want something back, you don't get it, dear. So I've had a bit of a crappy day. So getting the message today that I don't have cancer cheered me up. Going to fika or go and have a late lunch with 4 of my daughters together is wonderful. But what I've been doing while I'm here is just rehearsing. And when I was listening to Billy Joel, We Didn't Start the Fire, I thought to myself, thank God I'm not doing a tribute to Billy Joel, because that one song would take about a year to learn. But I have launched a new tribute. I'm well known around the world for my Rod Stewart tribute. Rod Stewart. I've done it 25 years. I've been around the world 6 times. And I've got bored. I like to keep myself on my toes, and I like a challenge. And I love Def Leppard. And when I'm done up and had a shave, for those of you on TikTok, you can see I'm unshaven. Don't intend to shave for the next 2 weeks until I go to Ireland. I'm going to be in Dublin, and I'm going to be doing Rod Stewart and my Def Leppard tribute called Love Bites. So I've been ramming it. Every day I learn a new song or make it sit. So I've got a full tribute to Def Leppard called Love Bites. And this is me doing Def Leppard.
Some kind of rational scene. To give us such crazy love, you must be some kind of drug. And if my turn don't ever come, for me, you're still the wall. And if I don't, and if I do, I gotta get my fix on you. Have you ever needed something?
How are you all doing? This is Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden.
Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. So bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
Tune in to dreamcatcherradio.co.uk every Tuesday at 2 p.m. for a dose of reality. If you're woke, I suggest you put a nappy on, because you will not like what I've got to say.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honour and good sense.
I look at the events of the week, what's happened, what's going to happen, what we can or can't do about it. Be under no illusion, we, the people of the world, are under attack from the elite, and I intend to expose each and every one of them, regardless of the personal cost. We play some great tunes and we have a lot of laughs. Dreamcatcherradio.co.uk, the Englishman in Sweden, Michael Dean, otherwise known as Mr Marmite. If you listen, you might understand why. You'll love me or you'll hate me.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
Order. From Substance, the album Substance, one of the best songs of the 80s for me, True Faith. What a brilliant, brilliant track. You know, Manchester's really created some brilliant music. I'm in Manchester now in March. I'm just going to plug back to the Love Bites, The Story So Far, my tribute to Def Leppard, or Joe Elliott, I should say. I'm doing it in a duet show, if you can say. I'm doing a double header. I start the evening with Rod Stewart, and then I do Def Leppard, Joe Elliott's cracking. And it's proven extremely popular. I've only just launched it. I believe if you're going to do something, you do it right. And, I'm 3 years in the making, that show. And I'll be in Manchester, Wigan, Walsall, just outside of Oldham. I'm in Dublin in a couple of weeks. A lot of inquiries coming in, which is great. So if you're interested in Love Bites, The Story So Far, tribute to Def Leppard, or my Rod Stewart show, or indeed Rock of Ages, or all four together, drop me a line at rodstewartshows@icloud.com, or you can contact me social media, which is on Facebook, it's Michael Dean. On Instagram, it's Stuart Rudders, StewartRudders, or on good old TikTok, the Englishman .in.Sweden. You're more than welcome to contact me, because I'm planning my year, and so far I've got 7 countries booked in, Japan included, which will be a real thrill. They love the rock over there, they really do. Oh, hello, Mr. Stewart, you're so big. I remember last time I was there. That's another story for another day. You know, back to Trump, right? The only language that a bully understands is if you bully him back. That's why he don't do anything with, I'm going to put 150% tariffs on China and whatever, Donald, you know, you just talk so much crap, it's unreal. And I never saw through it. I was one of the few disciples who stood my ground and thought you were great. But, you know, it were on, I think it were TikTok, I saw it. Everything's on TikTok now, isn't it? And he said that he's going to make medicine so cheap. And how he did his mathematics is, well, mind-boggling for me. He said that we're going to make the medicine 500% cheaper. So if you take $100 of insulin, for example, which they won't be able to get anymore because Denmark, if they've got any brains, will stop sending it to them. But if you bought $100 worth of insulin and you get 500% rebate, that means you're going to get your insulin for $400. And he's a great businessman. Pull me other leg and bells ring. But the EU, right, the EU, this is an interesting little one for you now. The EU have just passed the asylum and migration law, where they are forcing, this is another problem which is now being overshadowed because of what's happening with Greenland and Trump, but the EU have passed an asylum and migration law where they are forcing member states of the European Union to take in asylum seekers or face massive fines. And this is passed. It's passed. I mean, how? How? Look around you. Look what's happening to our continent. It's being destroyed by this filth. It's mind-boggling for me. I'm just going to say to everybody on Instagram. See you, Instagram. Have a good one. Tune into dreamcatcherradio.co.uk. For me, it's absolutely mind-boggling how, with the state of our continent, how people can even think that we're going to allow this to carry on. And they're going to force countries like Hungary and Poland into taking migrants. They don't need to force Sweden, because Sweden just open the legs and open their arms and give them passports. That said, Sweden have now realised that the public sentiment is really, really not with the policies they've been pushing. And now, listen to this, now when people with dual passports, right, this is what's happened, they're letting all these immigrants and asylum seekers and economic migrants, and here in Sweden we're all struggling, electricity's you can't afford it. It's just literally is heat or eat. And the crime has just gone through the roof, and over 300 minors, that's under 15, have been locked up in juvenile centres for being torpedoes, basically shooting people and stabbing people by order. And when Alan was visiting me with my daughter Zoe in Cyprus in the late summer, he showed me a website where you go on it and you can order, or you can take the orders on offer to go and assassinate people. And that's an open website in Sweden. And 300 juveniles, it went up from 124 in 2024 to 300 and something in 2025. It's insane. Because they can't put them in prison, they're just sending out these kids, and the kids who think it's like a game, they're shooting people, and, you know, that's just how life is in Sweden. There's only been one bomb this week. One bomb and 3 shootings. I think they've run out of bullets and they've run out of energy, and either that or even the police aren't reporting on it because it's a sad state of affairs here in Sweden. And Ulf Christiansen has gone off to the other World Economic Forum mongrels to plan the demise of our continents. But this was a good news today. They are actually stopping now. For example, an Afghanistani or Syrian comes to Sweden, claims asylum. It's too dangerous, I'll get murdered if I go back. My life's at risk because I'm gay. No, they're not. They're just saying it because that's one way of getting your residency or citizenship. Say you're not a Muslim, say you're a Christian, and they'll give you a passport. Or say you're gay, they'll give you a passport. And now, this is really good, because when they go back to Afghanistan or Syria, they don't travel on their Afghani or Syrian passport. They're travelling on Swedish passports, and they're not being allowed back into Sweden. That, finally, is some good news, what this Swedish government is doing. They're doing a lot wrong, but they're doing a few things right. Not many things right, but that's one in the feather. The fact that the Iranians who were going to be deported a couple of weeks back were allowed to stay because of public protest, it goes to show that although people think that Swedes are mega racist, they're actually not. They've all got hearts and souls. Welcome to Dreamcatcher Radio with Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden. Here's Europe.
And now they had to learn there was no place to return, nowhere
fabulous band. Europe, of course, fronted by the one and only Joachim, otherwise known as Joey Tempest. Great singer, great band. They're back out and doing the rounds as well. Right, let's go over to Italy, shall we? And Giorgia Maloney. Don't say that when you've got anything in your gob. This is interesting because there's a girl. I'm just going to switch between Britain and Italy here. The 20-year-old girl called Samantha Smith, right? After she exposed Pakistani grooming gangs on national TV, the police came to her door the next day to arrest her. The UK will do anything to hide the truth. We all know about the grooming gangs. We all know that Saeed Khan's a little turd and is deflected, I should say, from having inquiries. He didn't know anything. He didn't know what a grooming gang was. It's rife, and apparently it's stopped. When I was in Cyprus last year, I went to a Lidl shop. It was a day off, and I nipped in there to get whatever it was. I think it was some cheap German beer. This is good, alles klar, Franz Beckenbauer. And it was just before closing time, and it was late in the season, end of October, early November. And there were a gang of Asians hanging around the supermarket. They were sat around and they were smoking and just gawping at all the birds. So I just went over to them and said, "Hey, Mosh, what are you lot doing here?" And they went, "Oh, what do you mean? Are you being racist?" "It's because I'm a Pakistani." "No, it's because you're filth. What are you doing here? You're like 8 guys and you're just gawping at all the girls, and I'm going to sit right there in my car and make sure you don't do anything to any girls." And they laughed, right? So I went to the car and I got Lily out. She's a doggo. She's a big girl. And they took off. So I went home and I got wrecked that night. That's what I used to do on my nights off there. Go out and get hammered. But Maloney, Giorgia Maloney, she has now refused visas to all Pakistanis. Keir Starmer, why don't you do the same? Why don't you do the same? Give the poor people of the United Kingdom a break from the rape and all the trouble that these people bring with them. Pakistan is not at war. It's not at war, so they don't have an excuse to come because of that. We don't have an empire or a commonwealth anymore. We're a little island sinking under the weight of mass immigration and mismanagement. So don't let them in. If Giorgia Maloney can do it, why can't you, queer Keir? Just a question. Because you don't want to. Hey, queer Keir. You're down in Davos now, aren't you, rimming somebody? boys. Hands up if you fancied Debbie Harry. Still give her one today. I love Blondie. I remember in my last days in school, and I was into punk, and Debbie Harry came on the scene. I was like, oh my God. Oh, young dreams. I had a mirror of her. One of these mirrors, remember these mirrors you could buy at her? Rod Stewart and David Bowie. I love Bowie, I love Rod, and I definitely love Debbie Harry. Let's just touch back to Greenland. This is just my personal opinion. I might be totally wrong, but I've got a feeling that the USA will be giving Greenland to stay in NATO. Unfortunately. Without the USA, NATO is powerless, really. We've been witness to that over the last 3 years. And just for those of you who think I might be Russian or whatever, I'm not. I'm British as they come. I just live in Sweden. My kids are Swedish. That's why I'll fight for Sweden. I won't fight for Keir Starmer. The over 60s, veterans over 60, he wants them all to come back, you know, and get out the box on the street or hiding or laying on park benches because the country dumped on them from a great height and expect them to now come back with post-traumatic disorder, stress disorder, and fight for a prime minister who just likes the Ukrainians knocking on his back door. Not a chance, Starmer. I think Starmer isn't just the most unpopular prime minister we've ever had. I think he's the most unpopular person in the country. And he's just a weak, pathetic man, isn't he? Hey, just come out of the closet. You and Macron. I mean, Macron's married to a man. Big Mike, you know, married to Barack Obama, who's the architect of a lot of the trouble that's now falling on the world's shoulders. But Trump's just running with it, and he's like a quarterback out of control. He is a quarterback on steroids, if you get what I mean. But here's some statistics for you. NATO against the USA. Soldiers, NATO has 5.9 million, America 2.15. Tanks, NATO has 14,000, America 5,652. Really good long-range missiles. We've got 3,556. America has 3,556, so that's pretty even. Land, soft armour trucks and everything, NATO's got 60,000. America have got 360,000. Nuclear bombs, Europe has got 515. NATO has 515. America has 528 nuclear warheads. Fighter jets, 13,000. That's NATO, and America has 13,175. So that's pretty even. So I mean, if it comes to a full-scale conflict, it's touch and go, isn't it, Lily? It's touch and go who's going to win it. I just hope it doesn't, because we've always classed America as a big brother. We've always trusted America to stand shoulder to shoulder. They were late coming into World War II. I do believe Britain would have won it anyway, but it would have been a lot more death and it would have taken 2 or 3 years longer. But thank you for that America win. We can never forget that we have been allies. We've been allies for decades. And now Trump is threatening all of us. Fair enough, Ursula von der Leyen and that absolute idiot NATO chief, I can't even pronounce his name, Mark Rutte, whatever his name is a total pillock. But the fact of the matter is, Trump's threatening each and every one of us. He's threatening you, me, your children, your grandchildren. And his wild, mental outstretch to have an American empire. Donald, we don't want you. We don't need you. And I think now that Europe's woke up, it can regrow and it can brand itself and be a world power once again. That's all I think. Back to Manchester. Oh, hold on. It's done it again. Sorry, I've got to do it again. Bear with me. My computer's gone mental again. I've ordered a new one. I don't want it playing on there. I want it on my computer, thank you very much. So let's go there instead. Let's try that again, shall we? Here we go. There we go, that's better. Here's one for Mickey over in Cyprus. I still love you, mate.
you know you might find a better place to play. You said that you've never been, but all the things that you've seen will slowly fade away. So I start a revolution from my bed, 'cause you said the brains I had went to my head. Step outside, summertime's in bloom. I stand up beside the fireplace, take that look from off your face. You ain't ever gonna burn my heart out. And so Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as we're walking on by. And so slides away. But don't look back in anger, I heard you say. Take me to the place where you go, where nobody knows if it's night or day. But please don't put your life in the hands of a rock and roll band. We'll throw it all away. I'm gonna start a revolution from my bed, 'cause you said the brains I had went to my head. Step outside, 'cause summertime's in bloom. Stand up beside the fireplace, take that look from off your face. 'Cause you ain't ever gonna burn my heart out. So Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as she's walking on by. My soul slides away. But don't look back in anger, I heard you say. So Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as we're walking on by. Her soul slides away. But don't look back in anger, I heard you say. So Sally can wait. She knows it's too late as she's walking on by. My soul slides away. But don't look back in anger. Don't look back in anger.
I heard you say.
I heard you say. At least not today.
You know, I was like really surprised at the euphoria that was going on when Oasis reunited, and I had never been a fan of them until I started to listen to them late last year when I was back in Sweden. I was just listening to a lot of music, and I started listening to Oasis. Oh, not too bad actually. A friend of mine does a tribute to Oasis, Mickey. Very good tribute as well. Very good guitar player and all-round entertainer. I've got to throw that in there. And I hope you're feeling better, mate. Now listen, Germany. Germany. This is shocking. The shocking shift on Russia. Let's end mess. Directs EU to rebalance ties with Putin. That's because they know we can't rely on America anymore. I find it fascinating that Christian Democrat, whatever he calls himself, is an absolute horrendous man whose father was an SS officer and is now driving Germany real well and truly down the toilet, isn't he? But he wants Germany and the European Union to end the conflict, so to say, with Russia, and he wants the EU to rebalance ties with Putin. Now, why would he want to do that? Why? It's just going to show that they're all now down there in good old Davos, rimming each other. I think Keir Starmer's at the head of the queue now that little Zelensky's not there, so he's down there giving pleasure to all the other bandits, sitting, drinking the champagne, eating the lobster, saying, what can we do now to destroy the lives of our citizens? All the people listening in Holland, this one's for you. Here's Anouk, Nobody's Wife. You listen to Michael Dean on Dreamcatcher Radio. Good afternoon. How you diddling?
I'm sorry for the times that I made you scream, for the times that I killed your dreams, for the times that I made your whole world rumble, for the times that I made you cry, for the times that I told you lies, for the times that I watched them let you stumble. It's too bad, but that's me. What goes around comes around. You see that I can carry the burden of pain, 'cause it ain't the first time that a man goes insane when I spread my wings to embrace it for life. That out love, I'll never be nobody's wife. I'm sorry for the time that I didn't come home, left you lying in the bed alone, flying high in the sky when you needed my shoulder. You're like a stone hanging around my neck, say, gotta lift me for a break, my back, say, I gotta say what I feel for I grow older. I'm sorry, but I ain't gonna change my ways. You know I try, but I'm still the same. I got to do it my way. Yeah, it's too bad, but hey, that's me. What goes around comes around. You see that I can carry bad enough pain, 'cause it ain't the first time now that a man goes insane when I spread my wings to embrace it for life. That out love, I'll never be nobody's wife. Yeah. It's too bad, but hey, that's me. What goes around comes around. You see that I can carry the burden of pain, 'cause it ain't the first time, oh no, that a man goes insane. 'Cause when I spread my wings to embrace it for life, sucking out his love, I'll never be nobody's wife. Yeah. I'll never be, never be, never gonna be, never gonna be, never gonna be.
Oh, that track rocks, doesn't it? Anouk, Nobody's Wife. I was first introduced to her music. Oh, God. Let's think. Saga was 1, I think. Or 1 coming up 2. And we were in Florida and we met this wonderful couple. Wonderful. Ineke, who used to be a very well-known opera singer in Holland, and her amazing husband, Otto, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. Wonderful, wonderful man. An ex-Dutch Navy SEAL. Me and him hit it off like an house on fire. And remember, we went down to Clearwater. We were in Clearwater, and we went down to Key West. And it's when all these parrot people were there. You know, they support the Grateful Dead. All their fans were there. And me and Otto got absolutely ratted together. And it's just after one of those big hurricane, typhoon, whatever you want to call it, at Florida. We went down Key West, had a brilliant time. And we were sat drinking whatever it was we were drinking on a balcony at the hotel. And he introduced me to Anouk, and I've got a couple of her albums. She was massive in the 80s and 90s. Massive. Great, great vocalist. Anyway, you lot, you're listening to Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden, and this is interesting. I'm going to ask you all a question. Answer me if you want. Mr Marmite at dreamcatcherradio.co.uk, or you can get hold of me directly at rodstewartshows@icloud.com. There's been a survey. I don't know who does these surveys, but I find it pretty interesting. The percentage of people who think their culture is superior to others. Bottom of the class is Spain. Only 20% of Spaniards think that their culture is better than anybody else's. There you go, an emasculated nation. Totally. Top of the class is Greece, with 89% of Greeks think that Greek culture is better, superior to anybody else's. Having spent a lot of time in Greece and Cyprus, well, Cyprus is basically Greek. You know, they call them Greek Cypriots, don't they? And it's independent Cyprus, but it's pretty much Greek, and the food is just off the charts. Now that I'm back in Sweden, I'm losing weight because I'm not eating kleftiko and just a lot of shoulder of lamb and lamb chops. Oh, my mouth waters just thinking about it. The food is insane. Ireland, 42% here think that your culture is better than anybody else's. I don't think there's any Irish culture left, to be honest, sadly to say. I may say I'm in Dublin in a couple of weeks. Come and see me. I'll be in the Swords area performing. I can't wait for that. 46% of Brits think our culture is better. The Germans, 36%. Luxembourg, 31%. Swedes, only 26% think that the culture is better or superior to others. That's because I think about 9% of... 14% actually of Sweden is Islamic now. So 49% of Norway, 58% of Norway. So they're still hanging on. Finland, it's 49%. Russia, 69% think that their culture is superior to anybody else's, and no one's going to argue with them. Italy's 47%. Portugal, 20%. So it's quite an interesting little spectrum, isn't it? But I mean, the problem is like many of our countries, like Britain, 46% think our culture is superior to anybody else's when the main dish is curry. It's pretty difficult to understand why we still think that. Immigration. It's one of those big problems, isn't it? And Ursula von der Leyen has decided to force more of it on everybody, which is not really good, is it? Now, while we've talked about Anouk, let's talk about Eva Veer Edenhaknek. She's been banned from Britain. This is the Dutch activist. She's great. Beautiful girl as well. And she came over and spoke at Tommy Robinson's rally. And Keir Starmer and the Home Office has deemed her as a danger to Britain. Why? She's not coming over and wanting to bomb anybody. She's not coming over and wanting to stab anybody. She's not coming over and wanting to rape anybody. She's coming over to talk about the troubles that we as a continent face. But she's been banned by Queer Keir, who's on his way. Because guess what? Question time, he won't be there tomorrow again. He won't be there to face up to the music because he'll be in Davos with his mate, Nutty Nigel Farage, and all the other... I don't know what word to use without getting chastised from the radio owner and manager. Well, they're all just turds, aren't they? Eh? They don't give a monkeys about any of us, which is the sad part of it all. But let's change now and go to a brilliant track by the Damn Yankees. Now, they were massive in the 80s as well, and I think a lot of people are saying damn the Yankees just now. This is High Enough. You're listening to Michael Dean on Dreamcatcher Radio. Good afternoon. I'm here for another 25 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
a shame I've got to live without you anymore. There's a fire in my heart, a pounding in my brains, driving me crazy. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Yesterday's just a memory. Can we close the door? I just made one mistake. I didn't know what to say when you called me baby. Don't say goodnight. Say you're gonna stay forever. Oh, all the way. Can you take me high enough to fly me over yesterday? Can you take me high enough? It's never over. Yesterday's just a memory. Yesterday's just a memory. And I don't want to live without you anymore. Can't you see I'm in misery? And you know for sure I would live and die for you. And I'd know just what to do when you call me baby. Don't say goodbye. Say you're gonna stay forever. Oh, all the way. Can you take me high enough? Can you fly me over yesterday? Can you take me high enough? It's never over. Yesterday's just a memory of a way. I was running for the door. The next thing I remember, I was running back for Don't say goodbye. Say you're gonna stay forever. Oh, can you take me high enough? Can you fly me over yesterday? Can you take me high enough? It's never over. Can you take me high enough? Won't you fly me over yesterday? Can you take me high enough? It's never over.
What a band. The Damn Yankees with a brilliant song, Can You Take Me High Enough? I saw them in concert, in Los Angeles in the 80s. Absolutely awesome. In the 80s, that's the days when we could travel and do what we wanted, isn't it? Hey! Not anymore, unless you're in a rubber dinghy. Luckily, the European travel ETA, whatever it's called, is being delayed until October of this year because of technical problems, so it's still ways of getting in and out of Europe without having to pay for a stupid visa and you get your passport stamped, and quite often you get lucky and there's no one on passport and you don't need a stamp, so you can stay a bit longer. Anybody interested in finding out how to stay longer, especially in Cyprus, give me a bell, I'll let you know. I have my ways and my means. I just want to give a shout out to Greece for being proud of your culture. Fair play. That's what I can say. Now, meanwhile, in Zurich, in Switzerland, at Davos, Swiss police have deployed water cannons against thousands protesting Trump and the World Economic Forum. Give them a round of applause. That's what I like to hear. Bring them all down. Vlad, I think you're a part of them. I think Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are working together to destroy Europe. I spoke about that earlier on in the show. I'm pretty convinced about it now, but I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I might be right. And one of my very good Swedish friends, he messaged me about 15 minutes ago, and he just wrote to me and sent me a picture saying, don't forget we are Vikings. That's Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and Greenland with his little red and white flag. Don't forget we are Vikings. Greenland, we are with you. And judging by the military build-up on Greenland and the readiness that Sweden, Denmark, Norway are all entering now, I think old Trump might just get a bit of a shock if he tries to invade Greenland. I would enlist and go and fight, because this affects all of my children's futures here in Sweden. Going over to Spain now, to my very good friend who's listening in Austin, Texas, Steve the Entertainer. It's going extremely well for him, professionally and personally. I'm so happy. He's such a great guy. Check him out on YouTube, Steve the Entertainer. This is A Kind of Love on Dreamcatcher Radio. Good afternoon. Stick with me for the remaining 15 minutes. Stay tuned to Dreamcatcher Radio, the most diverse radio station on the air. Yeah, Steve agrees with me.
We talk all night, even through the day. Your voice softly touches my brain. You say don't go crazy, we are just friends. But your voice, it's driving me insane. I see the storms behind your eyes, the hidden wars you try to hide. I can't help loving you, Lord knows I've tried. I saw a future and you were there. You were laughing, you looked so amazing. I reached out my hand to touch your face, then you were gone without a trace. Some songs, it's easier that way. You laugh when I say marry me, but one day you will touch your face, then you were gone without a trace. Kind of love, or am I blind? Why did they send you there? That's so unkind. It's not my fault. I feel this way. Ooh, don't ever take this love away. Is this the kind of love? Why am I confused? I've been waiting for someone like you. Oh, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm mad, maybe I'm stupid, maybe I'm sad, but I know what I feel. I ain't no child. You got my emotion running wild. I saw a future and you were there. You were laughing, you looked so amazing. I reached out my hand to touch your face, then you were gone without a trace. Kind of love, or am I blind? Why did they send you there? That's so unkind. It's not my fault. I feel this way. Ooh, don't ever take this love away. Is this the kind of love? Why am I confused? I've been waiting for someone like you. Oh, I'm not saying this to make you crazy, and I don't want you to be sad. You can't help the way you feel. I told you I'll never lie to you. I always say what's true. Is this a kind of love? 'Cause I'm so in love with you.
Steve the Entertainer. It's quality, innit? Check him out, YouTube, all the usual places, iTunes. Steve the Entertainer. He's got 3 albums out now and quite a few singles. He's had a tough time, now he's riding high. In fact, I'd say that Steve is riding like the wind. Dreamcatcher Radio. Hello, it's Saxon.
It is the night, my body's weak. I'm on the run, no time to sleep. I gotta ride, ride like the wind, to be free again. I was born the son of a lonely
How are you all doing? This is Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden.
Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. So bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
Tune in to dreamcatcherradio.co.uk every Tuesday at 2 p.m. for a dose of reality. If you're woke, I suggest you put a nappy on, because you will not like what I've got to say.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honour and good sense.
I look at the events of the week, what's happened, what's going to happen, what we can or can't do about it. Be under no illusion, we, the people of the world, are under attack from the elite, and I intend to expose each and every one of them, regardless of the personal cost. We play some great tunes and we have a lot of laughs. Dreamcatcherradio.co.uk, the Englishman in Sweden, Michael Dean, otherwise known as Mr Marmite. If you listen, you might understand why. You'll love me or you'll hate me.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
Honestly, what would we do to have Winston Churchill back? The greatest Brit. Oh. No. I'm getting carried away now. Stop that. What would we do to have Winston back, eh? I know I would. I'd love to have him back. He's what made Britain great. The song with Saxon, a good friend of mine, John Wardy Ward, he took over from Biff with Oliver Stone's Saxon. Great singer. Hopefully we're going to put some shows together. I do hope so. I really do hope we do. But I've got to say that Italy, Hungary, Belgium, Bulgaria, Czech Republic and Slovakia have all stood against the EU's theft of frozen Russian assets. At least there's a few people on our continent still got a brain. Thank you for listening to me. Come and see me in Ireland, United Kingdom. If you want to know where I'm performing, just go to my sites, Englishman in Sweden on TikTok, Michael Dean on Facebook, Stuart Rudders on Instagram, or mail me, Rod Stewart Shows at iCloud.com, or Mr Marmite at dreamcatcherradio.co.uk. Thanks for listening. Love to you all. Stay safe. Have a great week. Here's Simple Minds. Ta-da! Be true to yourselves. Be true to the people you love, and sod everybody else. Stay tuned to Dreamcatcher.
You turned me on. You lit me up like the sweetest cup I share with you. You lit me up. Don't you ever stop. I'm here with you. Now it's all or nothing, 'cause you said you follow through. You follow me, and I follow. What you gonna do when the things go wrong? What you gonna do when it all backs up? What you gonna do when the love burns down? What you gonna do when the flames go up? Who's gonna come and turn the tide? What's it gonna take to make a dream survive? Who's got the time to calm a storm inside? Who's gonna save you? Alive and kicking. Stay until your love is alive and kicking. Stay until your love is, until your love is alive. take me home, where the magic's from, and I'll be with
What you gonna do when things go wrong? What you gonna do when it all cracks off? What you gonna do when your love burns down? What you gonna do when the flames go up? Who's gonna come and turn the tides? What's it gonna take
to make a dream survive?
Who's got the touch?
To calm the storm aside.
Don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye. In the final seconds, who's gonna say goodbye?
Thanks for listening, guys. Have a brilliant week, and